Hey everyone, welcome to another Genshin video. First, I'm sorry for my silence and total absence in general. College is hard and I'm just one guy with not enough time. So, I'm back, but only with a very short video. I've honestly been incredibly busy these past few weeks. I've had a lot of exams, and we're entering finals week. And on top of that, I've actually written about 3 different scripts for 3 different videos, but none of them have panned out for various reasons. So instead, I decided to make this video answering a couple of ideas for videos that people have put forth, and either answer them here because they're not in-depth enough to warrant their own video, or explain why they're too complicated and I won't be making a video for them. So first, from random person, asking, could you do one of these for Catalysts on my Bow DPS video? The first issue is that there really isn't any competition in this field for Catalysts. There are 7 Catalyst users in the game, and I could calculate all of their DPSs, but that's a lot of work, and only one of them is a 5-star DPS unit, Klee, and that kind of makes her a shoo-in for strongest DPS Catalyst user. She just scales harder than any other unit here, combined with the fact that she's Pyro, she's just really hard to fight against. Not to mention, most Catalyst users are supports. Like, you have Sucrose, Barbara, Mona, who are all support units, and I mean, you could cut them out, but the problem is people do play them as DPS. Barbara more as a meme, but there are Sucrose DPS and there are Mona DPS mains. So I'd still have to calculate that because Sucrose and Mona both have DPS enhancing abilities. So I can't really ignore that. So then you have at least 6 Catalyst users I'd have to calculate for. Now, we could focus on just the 4-star units, specifically between Ningguang and Yanfei. Lisa too, technically, but as a starter character, she's weaker in general. So that's possible to do, but that's not what the comment was asking for. But the second and arguably bigger issue is that these videos don't age well at all. Right now, my Bow DPS video is accurate, at least to me, because no new Bow users have actually been added. But with every new character added, these rankings will change, and I don't want to have to make a new video for each character, like an entire new Bow DPS video every once in a while. And especially with how poorly those character-specific videos have done, I mean, that could be a marketing problem on my end. Typically, the more general videos do better, like my Shields video did really well. Absurdly well, actually. And the versus things I do, like the Razor versus Beidou I did a while ago, or the Diluc versus Klee I did, those do better. So if I'm going to test these new characters, I'd probably be comparing them to the best in the field, but I'm not going to be making the very character-specific videos or the large overarching series like the Bow DPS video. I'm not going to do that again because that just takes too much time, and most people don't watch it to the end. It kind of makes me sad, but it's just too much work, and they don't age well. That's effectively the biggest problem. The next comment from 100 Aurel Levi asks, I know it's a hard one, but could you please do a comparison video between Kutsing Xingqiu versus Child Beidou to see who is the better charge comp? Alright, so here's the thing. Kutsing sucks. Electro sucks. Without a doubt, Child Beidou is better. Now, why is this, you might ask? It's simple. Child Beidou is AoE. Kutsing Xingqiu will constantly electro charge one enemy, but Child Beidou is capable of making all enemies in decent area constantly electrocharge individually. Like, with how electrocharge works, it'll spark to other wet enemies, but with Child Beidou, you're constantly electrocharging all enemies because of how their abilities work. Beidou's burst will cause her lightning to bounce from enemy to enemy, and Child is constantly causing his Riptide explosions, effectively. So everyone is always wet, and everyone's always electrocharged. Whereas Kutsing Xingqiu is a very single target focused thing, because Xingqiu only hits one enemy at a time with his burst. Now at the same time, this may change as there are rumors that Electro as an element will be buffed when Inazuma is released, similar to how Geo was buffed upon Zhongli's release. So all of this is subject to change and may actually warrant me updating several of my older videos, specifically the Razor vs Beidou video, because that one is all Electro. So once the Inazuma update goes live and Electro is buffed or not, I might actually do the math for this. However, until that update goes live, which we believe is 1.6, 1.7-ish, not entirely sure, this is all conjecture. Until that point, I'm not going to be making this video. The third comment from Jakeeps15. What is the best and worst weapon time in Genshin? Well, at least that's the question simplified anyways. So this is actually a very difficult question to answer because there are very few intrinsic bonuses linked to weapons. Of the 5 weapons, Claymore's Catalyst, Bow, Sword, Spears, 3 have intrinsic bonuses that have nothing to do with the character wielding them. Claymores all come with crush damage, meaning they deal damage to geostructures. Catalysts and bows have their on-demand elemental applications, and bows also have their manual aim mode. And that's it. And I know people will say something like, oh, but Zoob, spears hit really fast, which means Crescent Pike does a lot of damage. Well, yes, but that's only because the spear users now all hit fast. Take, for example, Tartaglia, who, despite using a bow, hits pretty dang fast. He doesn't have the multi-hit thing that the spear users typically have, but he still hits quite fast. So the spear users aren't really niche in that. It depends on the character. Like, if you look at Xiao, his attacks aren't actually that fast. If you compare his attacks to something like Xiangling or Zhongli, he hits pretty dang slow, or even Hu Tao, who also hits pretty slow. So it's very up in the air, and also Xiao just mainly uses plunge attacks anyways, so the spear's fast attack speed doesn't actually buff him in any way. So it's not an intrinsic spear bonus, it's spear users are really fast right now. Now, which weapon is best? Personally, I'm of the belief that none of these weapons are definitively better than the rest, only that swords and spears aren't as good due to lacking special qualities. My reasoning is simple, alright? None of these perks are actually all that useful. Claymores can break geostructures easily, but so does overload attacks and geo attacks. So despite the fact that it is useful, its benefit isn't like, oh my god, Claymores, if you have a Claymore team, it's going to be busted. It's like, no, you just don't have to deal with having a Geo or having an Electro Pyro unit, which is incredibly easy because Pyro is so powerful and Electro is there. But you can just stick one Electro character in your team if you need to break shields. Boom, you have Overload for Geo now. Or just have a Geo character. You don't really need to have a Claymore. Now, Catalyst and Bow's ability to apply elements at will is also quite nice, especially against the shielded enemies like the Abyss Mages. But the easiest way around this is to just use elemental skills, and that's an ability that all characters have access to, and for shields typically is better than just spamming your Catalyst or Bow elemental attack. Now, both of these weapons also have range, specifically the bow, as the range on Catalyst characters can vary between characters. Like, Klee has a really short range, as opposed to someone like Sucrose or Mona, who just kind of cause elements to pop at their location. So we're going to focus on bows specifically here. So the issue with charge attacks of bows is that in most of the harder content, like Abyss, the area is typically incredibly constrained, so this range is never fully utilized. All it takes is a couple of seconds and an enemy can just waltz on over to you, or dash over to you, or jump on top of you. There's a lot of ways enemies can get on top of you, and it's never nice for the bow user. So the range, nice, but never really used. Now you could use this in the overworld, and I do this a lot because I play Ganyu. And what happens is you just stand really far away and just shoot enemies and they all die, right? That's nice, but you can do that with most characters in general, right? If you're using a melee character, you just have to walk up to them and they all die. Overworld is so easy, you don't need to snipe them from, 500 meters away. You could, and it's fun, but it's not really super nice. And if you're using anyone other than Ganyu, it doesn't work, because Ganyu has the AoE, and she's the only other charge shot bow DPS user, the other one being Amber, and Amber just doesn't do enough damage unless you're running a Vaporize comp. But in order to do that, you have to be close enough to proc the Hydro on them first, so Amber doesn't work, so you literally need Ganyu, and if Ganyu's the only one who can use it, is that really a benefit from the bow, or is that just Ganyu is better than most other characters? So, as such, none of the weapons are actually all that superior to any other weapon. If I had to choose a best weapon though, like I had to choose one, I'd say Claymore, because crush damage is nice. It's Geo as an element, as a sole element, is kind of useless. If you have one Geo character, it's useless. You don't ever run one Geo character. You typically run both because that elemental resonance is busted. So one Geo character to take up an entire slot is annoying. Having an Electro character on your team is really annoying as well if you're running a Pyro DPS. So having a Claymore is just nice. It doesn't break the game. It's just nice. Now, if there was more combat where you could stand really far away and shoot enemies, that'd be nice. But another problem with that is that enemies have an effective combat range. If they leave that effective combat range, they will de-aggro, return to their spot, and full heal. So if you don't do enough damage, they will re-heal, and it's just really annoying, which is why only Ganyu can reasonably pull it off. And that's all the video ideas that people actually put forth. which is surprising. I thought people would put more, but I guess not. Not everyone has things they need because I'm answering them. I guess that just means I'm really good at this. I don't know. I'm mostly medium here. In any case, I hope this can curb your desire for more min-max knowledge for the time being. Again, I'm really sorry for not posting. Hopefully, with the semester ending and finals getting out of the way, I'll be able to post more frequently. But that remains to be seen. And yeah, thanks for watching.